Welcome to the City College Chancellor's Community Listening Tour. Good morning, everybody. For those of you whom I have yet to meet, my name is Rajen Vurdien, and I'm the Interim Chancellor of City College of San Francisco. Thank you for joining us today. I wanted to give community members citywide and also members of the college community the opportunity to share their thoughts about our college, our impact on the regional economy and well-being of the people of the Bay Area. As most of you are aware, the college is facing significant budget challenges, and the decisions we must make to balance the college's budget so that we can serve the San Francisco Bay Area for decades to come will not be easy decisions. So today we ask for your input on the college, your feedback on what's important to you as a community member. We want to hear from you. If you'd like to share your comment, please raise your blue hand and you will be unmuted. Feel free to speak for 2 to 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, the host will mute you once more so that we can hear from as many people as is possible before we end today's listening tour at 11 a.m. As this is a listening tour, we will not be providing comments or answers to your questions. However, this meeting is being recorded and we commit to taking note of all that you have to say today. Your comments will help inform our future plans. There will be another listening tour a week from today, Thursday, October 1, at the same time, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So join us again or invite others to join next week. If you don't have the opportunity to speak today, please email your comments to chancellor@ccsf.edu. So once you have been unmuted, please give your name and affiliation to the college or to the community. And remember, all comments must be kept to 2 to 3 minutes. Without further delay, I'm going to ask Mr. Sean Yee to introduce the first presenter. Sean?
All right, thank you, Chancellor Vurdien. As the Chancellor stated, if you want to give your 2 to 3 minutes, please click on that blue hand to raise it. Our first speaker will be Winn Kaufman.
Thank you so much. Chancellor Vurdien, I want to start out with an apology. When you were first hired, I saw some news articles that were concerning, and I brought the concern to the board in the most respectful way that I could. That was my attempt. That was my intent anyway. Obviously, the impact was not that at all. And so I want to give you an apology. And I want to say that I really appreciate what I have seen firsthand of you and your commitment to hiring Black and Brown faculty. So I just want to publicly apologize and admit that my concerns were not, they were valid and legitimate, but it turns out that they were just concerns and they've been taken care of, and I really appreciate the fact that you're so open. So with that, at the last, I don't know if it was called a listening tour, but at the last town hall that you had, you made some wonderful commitments and have followed through on some of them. And I just want to make sure that you're aware. So I want to thank you for making sure that the LALS 5 course is being offered this semester, because it is very needed for our Black and Brown students. And so thank you. The other thing was the reinstating the chair of African American Studies. And I won't take the time to explain what's going on with that, but I really hope you've been following it, because once again, we are being stonewalled by inaction of some administrators on that. And then the last thing I just want to bring up some attention to, which I'm very concerned about. I am the co-chair of the Enrollment Management Committee. And, because of the administrator reorganization when you came on. The administrative co-chair, Edie Kuiper, was relieved of that duty. And I inquired, well, who is it now? And I did not get any answers. But in the meantime, there's been some enrollment management proposals and plans taken to budget, taken to the Board of Trustees, and taken, I think, to you. And I just feel like the most important group that needed to see those plans before they went anywhere else was the Enrollment Management Committee, and that has not happened. I think that will start to be remedied. I think Jessie Lee has recently been appointed as the administrative chair, co-chair, but I just want to alert that there's still some real problems with communications, with collaboration and transparency. So thank you very much.
All right, our next speaker is Robert Fitch.
Good morning. My name is Robert Fitch, and I am an instructor with Disabled Students Programs and Services, and I'm a member of the non-credit Adult Education Committee. And just one more time with feeling, want to point out that the college does have a dual role as both a community college and the adult school for San Francisco. We have been the adult education provider since 1970, 50 years. But sometimes we hear comments that lead us to believe that people really are not aware of the size and depth and breadth of non-credit at City College. Most recently, when rates of transfer from non-credit to credit were used as a measure of our success, it totally ignored what I call the safety net classes that we offer to ESL and DSPS and older adults, as well as all the CTE courses where people are earning certificates in culinary or automotive or child development or horticulture or whatever. They don't need to transfer to credit to show their success. So we need to find a way to measure the success of non-credit without always trying to pound it into a credit mold, if you will. Thank you very much.
All right, again, if anyone wants to speak, please raise your blue hand. We will get you in the queue and we will unmute you to speak. Right now, I am not seeing any hands, so we have Jess now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a student in the horticulture and trades. I would like to speak up about the registration issues online. A lot of students have been reaching student advocacy groups on Instagram because they've been having issues with registration, and some students have given up during the process because they feel very disheartened and discouraged when they have to register essentially twice to come into the community college system and then into the broken CCSF registration system. The registration help, the virtual hubs were not very helpful because the students that have issues with registering online don't have stable internet access at home, and they couldn't even access information about the Chromebooks. We need to figure out how to outreach students that don't have those basic necessities for distance learning. And then they have issues with talking to counselors, and some of the information that's being distributed is not collaborative with the student groups or the different ways that students get information. And it would be helpful if administrators and faculty and staff and the chancellor work directly with students. Also, there's some issues with student participation with participatory governance committees. The faculty and staff and consultants and everyone else and administrators get paid to be on participatory governance committees, and yet students are shamed if they have to miss out on a meeting or two because, you know, we can't sacrifice our working hours in a pandemic in order to serve on these committees, and yet we're told that our input is valuable and they pressure us to get more students, but we're not even getting help at the basic level. We have food insecurity issues, homelessness issues, issues to access to the internet. And when we do speak up and advocate for fellow students, sometimes we're not being heard and we're tokenized and politicized. And I would like to just ask for more help and transparency, and we need people to be working together in order to help students succeed. And I echo the comments from the gentleman speaking on behalf of DSPS and non-credit. There are a lot of students that rely on non-credit classes in order to start their own businesses or go through workforce training like myself right now to get to the next step and not necessarily have to have a transfer in mind in order to survive in the city. So please, Chancellor Vurdien, please work with administrators, because it's very painful for students who are losing student jobs and not able to get a basic minimum wage job right now. And there's administrators that are being paid over 6 figures, and we don't see that much collaboration or empathy for us in order for the system to work. Thank you.
All right, next up we have Michelle Sieglitz.
Good morning, Chancellor Vurdien.
Good morning.
On the call. I'm faculty in broadcast electronic media arts, as well as the media coordinator for RISE. And I wanted to just bring up a very crucial point that has been hitting our department, and I think departments across the college, and that is the issue of technology equity for our students. And it's such a crucial thing that I really discovered last semester when we were in a sudden move to shelter in place. A lot of students just clearly did not have technology to be able to keep up, and that includes internet access as well as having access to computers and software to keep up with their technology-driven classes. Some of that has been mitigated this semester. I'm excited to say I'm part of the group that's using Splashtop, which allows remote access to labs, which is pretty incredible. We just got it going this week. So I think I just wanted to appeal to you and the administration as a whole to do whatever we can to connect with leaders in technology in the Bay Area. I mean, Silicon Valley, right? We are the heart of technology, and whatever kind of partnerships we can make to enhance technology at City College and put whatever resources we can in that direction to make sure that every student has an opportunity to be successful. That's a real concern of mine, and I'd love to see that happen.
All right, again, if you'd like to be placed in the queue to speak, please raise your blue hand. We'll get you unmuted and you can give any insight, opinion, your input to the college here. All right, next up, I see Simon Hansen. Simon, we can't hear you. I think your other mute is also on.
So one of our concerns technically in general is that we are now operating in a remote format, and the medium of that remote format influences access to information and access. I don't have a comment at this time as much as I can just see that Laurie, who is connecting by phone, is trying to make a public comment, but because they're connecting by phone, they don't have a blue hand. So this idea of how we actually open up and connect up with our community through technology that Michelle just made is larger than just finding a partnership. It's what protocols are we setting forward and what's our priority system for really stretching out to make sure that people are not marginalized through the technologies they have available. And I say that, Sean, because can you see Laurie phone?
I can see Laurie phone. It only has the video option for her. I don't see which one is the audio option for the phone number she's on.
Either way, I think there's a comment that would like to be made.
I'd like to let her, but I don't know which one it is. I will let both of them, and we'll see what happens.
See what happens. Thank you. This is just as the community goes, Dr. Vurdien. Thank you for this. You recognize, I hope we recognize that there is a huge community that you have not met, because since you have been here, we have only been communicating through video screens. And there are a lot of people that are very invested in their heart and soul in this college. And some of them are marginalized at this point.
All right, so Laurie, if you are on the phone, I've let both the phone numbers, you can unmute now if that's you.
No.
Laurie, why don't you try reconnecting? We'll see if that gets your audio going there. It looks like only your chat feature is working. Any other blue hands right now? Anyone else that wants to speak? Please raise your hand and we will unmute you. I see Laurie reconnected. Let's have her unmute now. Laurie, you should be unmuted.
But it's very clear to me that we have technology issues, and the points that some of you have been making are being illustrated right now. That not everybody is equal when it comes to technology. Even here at the college, I find that our bandwidth is very low. And I'm getting messages that Sean's bandwidth is very low. And mine says my internet is unstable. Sean, do you see more people? Okay, good.
Oops. So
Laurie's
I'm
there
unmuted.
now.
Yeah, hello. I'm a non-credit ESL instructor, and it is an equity issue. We've had it before. This shines a big spotlight on it. And I've always just wondered why we are in the heart of Silicon Valley, why we can't partner up, come up with a solution that helps our students, our non-credit students, and be equitable with them. I've seen it at my daughter's high school. She goes to Oakland Tech. All the kids there that have immigrant parents, they're making sure that they're informed with software and technology to communicate, whether your language is English or Vietnamese or Amharic. And registration day, when they had to pick up books, it was a drive up, but they had the drive up tech section where you go and you talk with them and they helped you out with a Chromebook or whatever. I would like to see that at City College. I think it's long overdue. And we love our students, and our students love us, and they give 100%, and they're coming but it's really hard. It's really hard. And I want them to see that support from us. So that's what I'd like to say. And I've always been a big proponent with, yeah, let's partner with Google. I bet there's somebody there that wants to do some pro bono work for us, or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. I know there's political stuff with that, but I still think there's techies out there that would like to help us. So if we could do that, I think that would be great. Thank you, and thanks for getting me unmuted. And again, too, I'm on an iPhone. I don't know why that happened, but it did. So thank you.
Thank you, Laurie. Sorry about that again. Anyone else? Blue hands to speak. Here we go, Simon.
Thank you. Am I unmuted?
You are.
Thank you. There's questions, and the actionable items on the questions that are being raised here that I can see are, we currently are about to adopt a budget. We are in challenging budget times. What percentage of our IT tech budget is continuing to be operating through a consultant contract? And do we have a plan for not just bringing it in-house or finding partnership for our IT infrastructure? Because one of the things we've done over the last couple of years is we've spent an immense amount of money on just trying to sustain the architecture we have, and the architecture we have is what we're all straining against right now. So I would love to know, what is the plan for an IT plan moving forward that tries to get this under our control, not just come up with a solution for today, but the partnership that we need over the long term, and it will be reflected in our sort of our budget. What resources we're looking for, what our plans are to set targets for a better IT structure that is sustainable.
All right, thank you, Simon. Any other hands, blue hands? I don't want to pull the auctioneer and do a going, going, gone, but any last hands? Speak now or forever hold your peace for this week. All right, I'm not seeing any more blue hands, so Chancellor, I guess I'll turn it back over to you. Oh, wait, no, we got one from Edie.
Hi, Laurie's raising her hand in the window again.
Give me a second. Laurie, go ahead.
You know what? I never raised my hand, so I don't know if you did it on your end or what, but I'm done with whatever I had to say. So thank you again for checking in, but I didn't put my hand up. I'll see if I can put it down from over here. Hold on.
Sorry, there's actually two Lauries.
All right,
one
Harry,
Laurie
go
iPhone.
ahead.
Sean, Harry Bernstein has his hand up.
Yes, Harry, go ahead.
So thank you for the initiative of sharing this opportunity, even though there are not going to be any responses. But the Board of Trustees doesn't give responses, even though they're allowed to. So maybe it's aligned with that. So I want to thank you, first of all. I was observing the facilities, the Board Facilities Committee, and the question of the Performing Arts Unit, which is the Diego Rivera Theater and the STEAM building, had been downsized over the last year, and they were somewhat underfunded. And seems to me that you stepped in to say that it might be possible to withdraw the funding from the PUC building, which I believe your predecessor had committed some $30 million to that project. And the way it was reviewed, it was better to take that money and try to restore, also the trustees, Rizzo and Davila had something to do with it, to restore that to more like it was in the Performing Arts Education Center. So the full allocation, that is still being worked out. So there will be an update at the committee on the 8th of October. But that was a very helpful step. Then there's, we've reached so I'm concerned with a budget, as Simon Hansen and others have said. We've reached with some new figures. There are, I don't remember the number of full-time faculty, but part-time faculty are now set at 525, with a very likely reduction in part-time faculty. This is the first time in years that there's been fewer part-time faculty than full-time. And I realize that they're the low men and women on the totem pole, but they used to do a good portion of the work of the teaching at this college. So it's troubling. I'll bring up that I would like to speak today at the board meeting on the minutes, but there's no opportunity to do that. So perhaps that will be possible just before public comments. We found at the board meeting that several times Sean Yee has looked for people wanting to speak, said there were no people, but at least 2 meetings that I attended, there were people there. So how can we, and once the public comments are over, they're over, even if people are there waiting on the line or on the phone. So how can we update that so that there's maybe another way to message you, because there is no chat. Chat is disabled, and it's impossible for people who are muted to reach the staff running the meetings. So that's something. And finally, another plea for the older adults department, which was improperly reduced 90% last November. When this was brought up in your open forum, there was a negligible response, I would say, but it's part of what Robert Fitch was talking about, the dedication to lifelong learning and adult education. City College is the home for adult education in San Francisco, not the school district. So just to disenfranchise those 2,000 or more people is not right. And we hope that there's going to be some initiative to see how that can be restored. Sending those programs just to community facilities, senior centers, is not necessarily the answer, because those facilities have different ways of running their programs. So thank you for letting me say my piece.
All right, let's see Laurie. Laurie's iPhones. Can you talk now? You are unmuted, but we're not hearing you. Is your phone muted? Do you have the mute on your phone? Okay, I see you muted. Let's try unmuting you now. Try again, Laurie. Nope, we still can't hear you, unfortunately. Try calling in on the phone number and we'll try to get you speaking here. All right, next up, Arulian.
Hi, Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. Good morning, Chancellor Vurdien.
Good morning.
I'm a classified staff in the Office of International Programs. I initially came to City College myself as an international student many years ago. So I'm very passionate about what I do and what we do in our office, the service and the support that we provide to our F1 international students. But I think they're a very important part of the CCSF community. First, Chancellor, I want to thank you for your advocacy earlier this year when the US Department of Homeland Security took drastic measures against international students, and they were later revoked, thankfully. But we do appreciate the emails that you sent out and the fact that you showed your support and did what you could on your end, so thank you for that. Secondly, as I'm sure you're aware, our international students' population numbers have significantly decreased over the years. Obviously, this is a result of many factors, such as politics in general, COVID, etc. But one thing that we are missing at this college is a strong international outreach. We used to have more staff who were able to, travel abroad, attend international fairs, etc., and just to focus on outreach in general. But we no longer have that at this time. So right now, our very small team in the Office of International Programs is focused on admission and to support our current students to make sure that they maintain their F1 visa status while they're in the US, and just to ensure that they are successful in general. So we're working very, very hard to provide the best support that we can, but sometimes it is, difficult and challenging due to the very small team that we have in the OIP. So what I'm asking is that our office works together with you, Chancellor, and the administration in the future to develop strategies to not only be able to work on retention and continue to support our international students, but also to be able to do some more outreach and recruit. I think there's a real potential there, and we hope that we can make something happen. I think that all of this would really benefit both our international students population and also the college in general. So to end up, making a small investment in all of this, I believe can have a huge return in general for the college, and it's really a win-win situation here. So we really hope that we can work with you in the future. I just wanted to bring all of this to your attention, and thank you again for your support and for your time. Thank you.
All right, next up, Von Webb.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity, Chancellor. And also thank you for your support of the union's Affirmative Action Task Force. My name is Yvonne Webb. I'm a part-time faculty in the business department and also treasurer of the AFT 2121. I'm going to speak on behalf of non-credit and the African American and the African American Studies Department. CCSF has one of the largest non-credit programs in the state. These programs are essential to low-income, to immigrants, to undocumented older adults, disabled, and other communities in San Francisco. They have provided opportunities for students to gain general knowledge, learn new job skills, upgrade existing skills, and prepare for transfer to exceed in credit classes or to enrich their understanding about a wide range of topics. Black and brown students are adversely affected by these class cuts due to limited or non-existent courses needed for job and or career growth. Furthermore, non-credit classes prevent students from going into school debt as a result of lost tuition under the Free City due to the students' inability to meet course completion requirements. Non-credit classes, art or technology or business or ESL are essential for students who need to increase their educational and economic opportunities, especially in our current economic depression caused by COVID-19. The college's non-credit classes have continued to suffer drastic class cuts since the college's accreditation crisis. One full-time instructor in the business department that you have met with has raised concerns and questions about how the cuts have been allocated to various departments. in the last budget, well, not the current one, we did see that the non-credit faculty overall are being reduced by 24%, while credit faculty are being reduced by 4%. These percentages, of course, have probably changed since I put this together this past summer. And also, while non-credit business only makes up 7% of the total non-credit faculty, business is being reduced by 69%. And as you know, currently, no part-time faculty have been brought back this semester in the business department. So it raises questions not only about the administration thinking about the business department, but thinking of behind the administration's cuts overall. We need to find a lasting and long-term fix to the structural funding problems, and it may take other cost savings, such as leaders taking a reduction in pay. We may have to temporarily suspend college contributions to retirement plans. We may have to furlough employees whose workloads have been reduced. I mean, these are drastic, but these are some cost savings that other universities and colleges are looking at and have implemented. In terms of the African American Studies Department, currently the students do not have a chair. We have a chair, but the chair is from the Latin American and Latinx Studies Department, and the African American Studies Department deserves an African American to be chair and should not have to wait till next semester. I think we can work out some set of solutions so that the elected chair can take on the responsibilities that Black and brown students need in that department. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Yvonne. Let's go with Laurie again. Let's see if she can unmute that other one.
There, I'm on.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your help and patience.
All right.
So I'm a parent of a student, and my son is trying to get an associate's degree in photography. And this semester, his lighting class, because it couldn't meet on campus, was canceled. He withdrew from his drone class, which starts today, because they're not allowing people to actually use drones. It all has to be academic. It all has to be just online, just learning about the drones. So my basic concern right now is what is City College going to do about the arts classes? I know that darkroom also couldn't be held. I mean, all these classes, is he actually going to be able to get this associate's degree? Because you really can't do it without lighting and without some of these other courses. So as a parent, I'm concerned right now with the arts classes that really can't meet online only. And he is just about, he just can't take any more online classes. These are all art classes. They're not academic. Academic is fine. You can do that online, but these art classes, it's just really hard. Last semester, he had to, in March, he started doing his design class online, and the teachers are doing the best they can. They're really great. I have nothing but good things to say about his teachers. But I just, these classes cannot be taught online. These are art classes. You need one-on-one, you need hands-on for some of these. And I, aside from just coming on and expressing my frustration, can the school give me any confidence that he'll actually be able to complete this degree, which he has another year to do? That's basically my comment and question. Can't.
All right, thank you, Laurie. I'm glad we were able to hear your voice finally. Next up, we got Kathleen White.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Chancellor, for having the listening session. I couldn't have asked for a better speaker to follow. So thank you. Laurie, I don't know you, but clearly we're in sync. I'm hoping that as we move our career technical ed, and I'll add art, our in-person lab programs back, that we do both more outreach and more marketing of those programs as they come back online in person, because we know, Laurie gave a great example, we have students that want hands-on learning, that's how they learn. Zoom is not for everyone, and I think we're losing the students that learn through their hands and that learn experientially. So as they come back on, we need another way of getting that message out, another way of sharing the fact that we do have some in-person options, and we need to be more intentional about reaching out to those students. All of the CTE labs, ranging from, welding to child development to some of the health labs. I know some are in session, but many are not. Attract very specific students, and we need to be more intentional. Speaking of outreach and marketing, I have to say that I've been trying to share with some of my students some of the existence of some short-term late start courses, and they're very hard to find in our schedule. So I would really urge things like in-person labs, short-term late start courses to be somehow lifted from a schedule that's very hard to sort through in the best of circumstances. But when you're really looking for something that's late start, an in-person lab, something unusual, we've got to find a way to lift it, market it outside of our schedule. Just asking students to find something like that is a needle in a haystack. And so we've got to do a better job of promoting, especially our career technical ed labs and in-person opportunities, our late start courses, and advertising the fact that we have some things that are outside of the norm. Here they are, handing it to students on a plate rather than have them search like a needle in a haystack. I also would second the need for additional support for non-credit courses. They are our pathways to credit. So thank you. Thank you for having this session.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Any more blue hands? Last call for blue hands. Fanny, here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to say that City College is a community college serving the community, and a lot of our students are disadvantaged, low income, high school dropouts, or students who need great recoveries, or differently abled. So we have a large non-credit program, maybe not large anymore due to the continuous class cuts. But then I want to point out that a lot of non-credit classes are CDCP courses, which bring in apportionment at $5,621 per FTES due to equalized funding. So someone may say, $5,621 per FTES doesn't matter because of hold harmless. But as you know, hold harmless will end soon. And then what we need to do is to build enrollment so that we can sustain ourselves, our college, to continue to provide the education to those who are disadvantaged. I think I haven't been here for very long, but then I have heard stories that non-credit it's like the second child of the college. We don't get attention from the administration, even though we used to have 1/3 of the FTES of the college. Now it's down to 1/4. And then we do generate revenue, and in the upcoming Flex Day, a group of our non-credit faculty are going to present to hopefully a lot of administrators would come to be more aware of what non-credit programs are, what we do to our community, and who our students are. I know we are in a dire budget crisis, but then this is an educational institution. We provide education, and I understand that we do need to balance our budget, but then if you look at the CDCP courses can actually bring in equalized funding, I think we also need to look into that. And we also understand that cuts are coming, and we would like to see this process being transparent, and that faculty have involvement in the process of how we are going to balance the budget and to continue to serve our community and grow enrollment. And yeah, and okay, one more thing. Registration was a mess last semester. We are getting very anxious about what our registration process will be like for spring. We have lost a lot of students, and we need to reach them so that we can build our program again. So instructional faculty would like to get involved in refining the registration process virtually so that we can continue to serve our students. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Fanny. Next up, Nathan Lawless Steele. I miss saying your name and seeing you, Nathan.
Why, thank you. Well, one of my last names is New. The comments that Fanny just made are inspiring me to kind of say what I wanted to share, and I don't want to undercut the points that are being made about non-credit. But most of my frustrations and knowledge about our registration system is about the credit side. And so I just want those two things are both happening. What I would love, and maybe this is happening, I'm spending a lot of time with students in Zoom rooms, helping them how to navigate the ad process. I've written a couple things about where our ad process might be different, and maybe we eliminate, like, for example, the first step of students having to submit an ad request through a computer system, and really kind of just entering the machinery of our technological system and not having a human connection with the instructors. And I've looked at some other colleges at what their ad and registration process is. And it seems like there's some colleges that are doing things that are similar to us, but maybe eliminating that first step. My larger comment, I guess, is I would love to know that, like, students are kind of like involved and able to provide feedback on what that registration system, how it's working for them, and that those students might be able to kind of shine an even brighter light on how we can make things work better. And as we are coming up on another semester that students are going to register for, I think there's a lot of anxiety that instructors in credit and non-credit are feeling about how that's all going to go down. So addressing that anxiety, and I want to just say again, like, bringing student voices into the picture, because they're the ones that are experiencing and wrestling with this thing more than the rest of us. So thank you for having this meeting, and thank you for giving me that moment.
All right, thank you, Nathan. Next up, Susan Buckman.
Hello. So right now I'm speaking as a registered voter in California and San Francisco, and I cannot resist an opportunity to talk about Prop 15. So Prop 15 could bring like $10 to $12 million to City College every year, so it's really crucial. I encourage you to learn about Prop 15. You can go to yes15.org, and it's not guaranteed to pass. It's actually, in the polls, it's actually not doing well. And I think it's just that people are not understanding what it is and what it can do for California. And there's a lot of very, very rich corporations that are campaigning very hard against it because they stand to lose a lot of money, but they also have a lot of money and they need to like share some of it with the people of California to pay for education, of course, and for community services and emergency services and helping with the homeless crisis. So we need to get out and vote. You need to get your friends and relatives out to vote. This is crucial for the entire country. Obviously, this is a huge election. And if you know anyone that is not registered to vote, get them registered quickly because we're running out of time, and turn in your ballots as quickly as possible. We have a chance to change the city and the state and the country for better, and we cannot miss this opportunity. So yes on 15. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Susan. Last call for hands. We have time for one or two more speakers right now. Simon. And after Simon, if I don't see a hand, that will be it.
I am just trying to summarize what I've heard in many different places here and hope that it makes it forward. Susan just did a great job of putting out one option for revenue generation. There has also, I've heard here, calls for partnership with tech so that we can increase our infrastructure. And there's been many calls to look at registration itself and to try to improve it. The overall theme here is that we have to do something that I'm seeing on both the revenue and expenses side of this college. If our intent is to just continue the college by figuring out how to get less expenses, then we are going to be trying to look to cut more classes and to try to deal with less infrastructure. So there has to be some sort of revenue plan. And I hope that you're seeing the same pattern that I'm seeing in the public comments here today. We cannot be unrealistic about our income expectations. We cannot live in a dream, but we do have to address both revenues and expenditures. And so far, most of what we have been presented with at this point has been expenditure plans. Looking at our revenue is going to be important.
All right, and Harry Bernstein, the last word for today.
Yes, thank you. I forgot to mention one thing, and I couldn't have said it any better than Simon Hansen just did. I heard last week, because of some conferences on campus, that the Chancellor Vurdien expressed himself that he was not interested in, or did not think that it was his role to try to bring in more money for the college. I just point out that his predecessor, upon coming to the college, said that one of his priorities was to bring in additional funds. He didn't live up to that and did not express any interest in actually doing it, but he showed his credentials for doing so. So I hope that there is possibly from the state and the federal government, the way things are going right now, that doesn't seem to be an option, but there are philanthropies, private companies. We have to use our imaginations and initiative. I've heard from many faculty things that they're trying to set up for their own classes, but make that part of the equation. And I know that full-time faculty are alarmed at the idea that we'll be trying to eliminate programs which would make them vulnerable, and we should not be doing that at this time. Thank you.
All right, and with that, that's going to conclude our open session on input from everyone. Right now, I'll turn it back over to Chancellor Vurdien.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We are very grateful for your feedback. And I welcome you to invite others to join next week's listening tour on Thursday, October 1 at 10 o'clock. And I can reassure you that your comments, your feedback will be reviewed, will be studied, and will be incorporated in the plans that we will be presenting. And I thank Senate President Simon Hansen for the summary that you did. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you so that we can move the college in the right direction. As you know, I'm not going to be here for too long. I got about 9 more months left, but I hope that I'm going to use those 9 months to work constructively and positively with all of you. You are welcome to attend tonight's board meeting, Board of Trustees meeting, which begins on Zoom at 4 p.m. And if you didn't have the opportunity to share your thoughts today, please email chancellor@ccsf.edu. Again, thank you for taking the time to share your thoughts this morning. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.